and Deep-Rooted Conflict Options for Negotiators, published in 1998 by the International Institute for Democracy and Electoral Assistance, based in Stockholm. If a process is designed that is not appropriate to the context, then it is defeated before it begins. Well, friends, we have long begun, we have moved forward, we have faced many challenges, we have not been defeated, and now there are more of us to continue this process. Alam po natin na yung ating negotiating panels will complete the annexes together with the framework agreement will comprise the comprehensive agreement. It is the Transition Commission that will primarily carry the peace process to the next stage, leading to the establishment of the new Bangsamoro political entity. And so, in behalf of the GPH and MILF negotiating panels, I congratulate the 15 men and women of the Transition Commission. Ladies and gentlemen, the Transition Commission is now fully open for business. Allow me further in these remarks to draw some more quotes from this same book, which shall serve as inspiration and insights to our honorable commissioners. According to the book, appropriately crafted democratic institutions are crucial to the sustainability of any negotiated settlement. This line probably sums up the challenge to our 15 men and women in the DC. How would such appropriately crafted democratic institutions look like in this context? I try to imagine how the Bangsamoro political entity would look like using no other than the acronym GPH-MILF as guideposts. I am pleased to find that Chairman Iqbal's opening remarks actually emphasize similar points in his 10 points that he enumerated earlier. I think maganda pong indikasyon ito that there is really a very strong meeting of minds and spirits between the government and the MILF. The first letter G in GPH-MILF will have to stand, of course, for good governance. In this instance, under a ministerial form of government. We await with excitement how the TC will bring life to this notion and ideal. P is for political parties with platforms and not just personalities. In a ministerial form of government, political parties are essential for the formation of government. The Bangsamoro Basic Law will have to provide for the appropriate political party and electoral system of the Bangsamoro. H has to stand for human rights, which are the necessary foundation of genuine peace. The framework agreement on the Bangsamoro provides us with a reiteration of these essential human rights, and certainly we should find all this again in the Bangsamoro Basic Law. M stands for the various mechanisms with which to effect and implement shared governance, and indeed, again, the framework agreement and annexes calls for the establishment of several mechanisms such as the Intergovernmental Fiscal Policy Board, the Intergovernmental Sustainable Development Body, the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, of course, Transitional Justice and Reconciliation Bodies, as well as economic planning and development bodies. I stands for inclusive institutions and practices. In this regard, the biggest challenge is to provide for a legislative assembly that is truly representative, certainly much more representative than what we now find in the Philippine Congress. And no offense meant to our legislators here today. L stands for leadership, because institutions are run by people, and even good institutions can fail miserably in the hands of wrong leaders. During the transition period, under the Transition Authority, the mettle of leadership of the MILF will be put to test, and inshallah, they will pass the test. And finally, for F, for fiscal autonomy. For as we know, political autonomy cannot be real without self-reliance and the freedom to plan and manage one's own house. Fiscal autonomy and national government support should provide the Bangsamoro with the resources to deliver the basic services, spur jobs and economic development for the betterment and the deep sense of well-being of the people in the Bangsamoro, of the peoples in the Bangsamoro. There you are, GPH-MILF. Now let me beg your indulgence with two other quotable quotes in the book that are too good not to be mentioned even in a closing remark. Quote, the degree of transparency, accountability, and participation provide three crucial benchmarks to evaluate the continuing health of a settlement. I think this was also emphasized in the opening remarks of Chairman Iqbal. In this quotation, we are reminded once again the importance not only of the outcome, but also of the process. To repeat, the degree of transparency, accountability, and participation should provide three crucial benchmarks to evaluate the continuing health of a settlement. And finally, for the last quote, here it goes. The overriding determinant of whether a peace agreement will endure is the extent to which both the parties to the conflict continue to be motivated to avoid a return to bloodshed. This citation, I think, is the most fitting way to end this ceremony. It reminds us of why we are all here in the first place, to find peace, to build peace, to put an end to violence in politics, and to make politics truly in the service of the just aspirations of the peoples in the Bangsamoro. Shukran, marami pong salamat sa inyong lahat.